All right, I am getting ready to continue on painting Lauren Bacall, and I I did the first part on Facebook Live, and now I'm doing this on YouTube. Facebook has been having a lot of trouble with different people with the audio and stuff, so try this anyway. And if somebody comes on, all good. If not, during the live session, then we will end up seeing it later and I can share it to Facebook too. So anyway, what I've done so far is the image is on Bristol board smooth, and it basically, was a line drawing. You could see it here. I don't know how it works for, the zoom on here, but anyway, um, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue on and start working on uh, different areas. It's all about darks and lights. So what I'm using is, let me get them over here. Okay, we have India ink. Okay, it's light mixture, medium, and dark. It's already pre-mixed. You can purchase it from Timothy John Luke Smith. Okay. Hello there, Blue Bayou. How are you? I don't know, Blue, if this can be shared over to Facebook, but if you can share it somewhere, I'd appreciate it. Maybe even onto a. I just don't know how it works on YouTube. But anyway, um, hopefully you can hear me and get good quality sound as opposed to the other video on Facebook, which was really breaking up in the middle. So I had the tracing paper, which is all, kind of ripped up now, but it did its job. I had traced down the exact shape of the lips, sprayed through them, and gave me the reference of where to spray. And now I'm going to, like I said, I have the different um, mixtures that are pre-mixed. Again, Timothy John Luke Smith. Okay. Hey, Fred. Welcome to YouTube. Okay. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is just pick somewhere to work. The painting is going to end here. I'm going to cut it off right there. So this little white area is nothing. Okay. So what I'll do right now is I'm going to probably erase out areas as I go to, like, this line for the hair right here is going to be, I'll hold the cell phone so it doesn't, okay, so this is going to have tone on it, and I have a shield. Like I said, I'll use different shields. This is a paper shield, which follows the contour perfect. Just line it up. Okay, so I'll put that back up in 1 second. I just want to bring to your attention that I also have here on the side, I'm going to be using my, Awada custom side bottle, okay, Micron. That's what I'm going to be using. But for backup, I also have instead of my Awada HP Plus, which is a side feed, I have my side feed, like when I do t-shirts and stuff, attached to my Eclipse. This gun feels more comfortable than this gun at this time because the Iwata custom Micron there's a soft spring in it from Drew Blair, along with, oh gosh, the lowrider trigger. And this feels great anyway, it's a very precise airbrush. And if I didn't have any other airbrush, I'd have to use this. You can get in and do some fine detailing with this. So I just have it on the side in place of my HP this time in case I want to use it. I got to mess with this. Maybe you can get a spring, you know. Hello there, the Shadow King clan. Welcome. So again, this airbrush, maybe I'll do some things with it with the soft spring and what have you, but the HP Plus is a great airbrush, but it feels very, after going from the Micron with the low rider trigger and it just, I can't control it as well as the Micron. So that's why I have my Eclipse ready. All right, so this is just Bristol board by, let's see, do I have the pad here? Let me show you guys like I did on the Facebook video, just in case you want to buy it. It's working for me. I mean, as far as, you know, the Bristol board, smooth surface. It's not vellum. That doesn't mean you can't paint. You can paint on anything with the airbrush. You could paint on, you know, you got watercolor paper. I probably would recommend the hot pressed watercolor paper over cold press, the rougher surface. Depends on what you're looking for. But the hot press is smooth like this, but it's more, you know, it's got cotton in it, so it's got a more cushiony feeling. And I am working on a painting of a daisy like that. So I'm gonna take my light mixture. Like I said, I've got a few more people on here now. So okay. Dylan, yo. I'm gonna go to my light mixture here. Okay. And let's see. You shake it good, you know. To anybody on my YouTube channel that doesn't know about the inks, now you can see more, you know, what they're all about. So I've got my Micron here. I don't have to use my mixing cup. This is just messing with values. You know what I mean? You got a very liquidy, watery based paint. It's not paint, it's ink. And it flows it just flows beautiful. And it's super easy to clean up. This is a practice piece over here. So I have my Mac valve on here. I was telling one of the students that I was chatting with, I guess, about the Mac valve, because he was saying, what do I keep my air pressure at? And I usually paint around 30 pounds and under or over. Sometimes I'll paint, and I don't know the number when you have the Mac valve, okay? But I feel it. You know, that's a lot of air. So I just turn it down. And you can kind of, over the years, you get used to what 30 pounds kind of feels like. And less, you know, by just going lower and the way it would blow back on the paper and that kind of stuff. But the compressor is fired up to a very high pressure. So if I want, you know, I could probably do my t-shirts at 60 pounds or more with my valve, but I don't use this valve on my t-shirt gun. It is set up now, real quick, on this because I'm just switching it over. But normally when I do my t-shirts, I don't like that in the way. I don't know. It's just a different feel when you're swinging the airbrush really, like on a t-shirt or something. It's just me. Plus, that color cup is annoying on those, but it works. You know, those are bottom feed. This is a bottle feed, you know, siphon type of thing. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna, I've got the ink in, so I'm gonna test the airbrush here on the side. Very soft and very light. And that's what's nice. You can't really overshoot if you start with the lighter. You know, you start with, don't start with black. Doing a black and white portrait, really and truly the black is at the end stages. So if I try to spray black in here, at least my experience, it's not gonna work. As a gray tone, yeah. You know, I've been using like, before I had the inks, I was using Wicked Smoke. I think it's called Smoke. It's a very watered down paint by Createx. That's what I did, Lauren Bacall, the other Lauren Bacall, on illustration board years ago. I chose to do this on the paper over clay board because I've done a couple on clay board, and I'm not too sure if I like doing it on the clayboard yet because of I had a few problems with it, you know. Okay, so let's see. Hair shield, it's written right on there because they lay in the drawer here. And paper's great. It's so thin. You know, it's just perfect for not having any edge. All right, so in this area right here, where right there is there's a lot of light hairs. She's blonde haired, so I'm gonna just put a dusting of tone, just tone, just to separate it. I can even go right here to the edge because I see that that's much darker. And that we'll take care of later. That's going to get real dark. All right, so right now I want to get back into the shadow on the face. I don't think the light mixture is going to mess with it too well, but you could see that it's rolling out like an S. I guess it's an S shape, and mine isn't doing that yet. Up here it's starting to, but it starts to come out this way more. So I'll try this first. Like Tim always says, you know, go slow. It's use the what is it? He uses the 1 second rule, and that is just to not overshoot, be in control of the picture. So now we're starting to get that to roll out. And I've got to really pay attention if I want to keep that soft shadow the same. So I will take my time on that. In the meantime, I'm going to try something with the Drew Blair hair stencil. I'm not sure yet. I might use the, okay, so this is like a curtain of shapes that are all attached. And if you open it up just right, you can find the hairs that you might want to do, or at least the curve. Like I might not have to even do a hair. I might want to do like a blocking of a certain area, like right here. That's perfect. Okay, kind of should go like that more. It's got a nice little curve on it. I'm not using this for thin hairs right now. I'm just using that curve shape for this area right here. Just dusting it in lightly. Okay. So let's get darker here. It really isn't going to hurt the outside, so I really don't need this paper shield, but this is like Drew's stencils are pretty much super thin, and the paper is so thin, and that's important because if you spray on a thicker, say something like a Bristol board, like the Bristol board I'm painting on, you know. Let me show you a piece of it. If you spray this. Got to get it off my tray here. Okay. If you spray this, if you use this as a shield, it's okay like for t-shirts and stuff. It's very thick. You know, I don't know what that is exactly, but way thicker than paper. You know, the paper is so much thinner. All right, so you've got to account for that edge. It could cause you to have a problem where when you have a super thin shield, it's going to go right where you put it. When you have this kind of a shield, it's going to possibly give you an edge that you weren't expecting. And you got to be careful of the underneath where you get the bleed, you know? And then from there, you know. Now, as far as comments on here, I did see some, they just don't stay. So when you guys ask me a question or say anything, then I can see, I guess, a comment at that time. But right now, I'm just seeing 7 people, I think, are on here. Okay, so got the light mixture. I'm going to turn this down more. And I'm going to go, like I said, I'm going to bounce around a little bit. Over here because I got the light mixture. Over here on the eye is a gray. I got to get the right shape. And this might not be the shield, but I'm going to find out. Yep, it's the shield. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of a whisper of gray right there. Okay, and it does kind of go up. So I'll take the Tombow and maybe reshape it if I am fortunate enough to. It's pretty light spray. Yeah, it's reshaping it a little bit. And then there's going to be a highlight in there, so I could just kind of, I'm still using the white of the board for the general highlights, such as, say, on the nose here. This has overspray on it, so when I really, if I get in there and do circular kind of erasing, press lighter as I go up, that'll stand out more. And it also will get rid of the pencil line, and I'll get wider on it right over here. Okay, so you can see the whiteness of the board is really making a nice shine there. It's fun, you know, to go back and forth with the different erasing, removing paint, adding paint. This is the aggressive eraser. It's gray. It's able to press in a little harder. It's got tooth, and it can take off the pencil line and clean up that line. I don't want to leave texture, and that could happen with this. It's very aggressive. I want to keep everything as smooth as I can. Okay, so I see a little bit of a highlight that's going to be in here. I'm doing circular erasing right in here with the Tombow. Tombow's dirty, so I want to clean it on a piece of just white, you know, the white copy paper. Okay, where was I? Right here. Just little circles pushing into that area, removing some paint, and it almost picks out some of those from the skin shield. They're kind of there. Some of them are there already. And I was using, as you can see, the dark spray. I was using, let's see, can we show it better against the darkness? In this area, they're just all beautiful skin shapes of texture that would go on the face that this has 5 skin textures. And you would find by studying the picture, you know, whether you want to use something like this, you know, which is not her. That would be more heavy texture on maybe a guy or something. But anyway, so let me get highlighting the eye going on here. You can always mist over it. So I'd rather even have a little extra light. The Tombow doesn't have a lot of strength to it. I mean, it removes stuff, but it's not like an aggressive eraser, actually. It's not even like this eraser. Even though it's a similar eraser, this white eraser is like a magic rub eraser, they call them. Or Prismacolor makes them too. It's got a lot of friction, but it's still soft. So when you start to do your erasing, you know, you're going to remove stuff. It's going to happen easier than that other Tombow one I have. Now I'm just sweeping this way over the highlighted area of the top of her eye, which I can always spray more, you know, I can always spray more tone back on it. Just light that up a little bit right in here where it goes like that. Even the kneaded eraser, which is this one, you can shape it. It's a self-cleaning eraser, and you can kind of just pull flat strokes like that and get your highlights where you think they belong. This is great for graphite too. I can see some texture I put there. Anyway, the highlights are important that they come back out. So let me get this over here. Right on the ledge of the eye, you might say, the lid, right here. Helps pop that out, and just keep looking at your reference picture until you see that looking the same, you know. Hey, William, how you doing? Thank you. I'm glad it's fascinating. I love doing it, and it is a fascinating art form. And of course, working with black and white, if you're just learning the airbrush, maybe take the advice that I got from Drew Blair years ago, was really practice your black and white, learn your values. That's what he told me. Get your values down real good, because if you don't understand the values of dark, from black to middle tones to, you know, highlights, and then this would be considered no light. The black is no light. That would be considered super highlight, and everything in between on a grayscale. If you keep painting a lot of black and whites, your skills are going to amp up. They're going to ramp up, I should say, because you're going to be working it so much that when you switch over to color, so you don't have to worry about mixing colors. And if you're just learning, you don't want to be, you want to get your skills going. You know what I mean? You want to really get those skills up. And I took him up on that, and boy, it really helped. It didn't mean I didn't paint any kind of color picture at all. It meant that I worked the two together, you might say. So anyway, let's see, what do I want to do now? Okay, I want to get, I got to make a decision because I do have the lighter in here. I want to knock back the super white. There's super highlights here. I'm not going to put spray on that, but they're a little bit quieted down right in this area. So just from far away, I'm just going to put tone over that. You can see the difference. And as I bring this tone up here, it will start to let that super highlight pop out. Back and forth, preserving the highlights. So right here is that dark spot. After that is another semi-dark. Okay, so now we might want to take the shield. This is like when I do pet portraits, and find this shape, which is somewhere in this area, and then put a little color, you know what I mean, just a little bit over here. So now the super highlight, I lost a little bit there, but that was from before. That will be, that'll show up more, as you can see. So this is a super highlight right here. I'm just going to go back and forth until it pops back out. Now, this is an older eraser, and it's still great, but I buy them, a lot of them at one time. I get them at Hobby Lobby, okay? So I buy them like $2 for like, I don't know, 10 or 12 of them. So there's a brand new one. It's got a really nice chisel edge, see? So that'll be better to go in here, brand new, and just curve, the curve of your hand, sweep it, and there's the super highlight that was missing, along with maybe one more right here. You know, what's going to happen is around them, there's going to be all kinds of other colors that will set them off. But the best thing to do is to preserve it right from the beginning. Okay, so I'm going to do that again right here. darker here, but not super dark. I have a grayscale chart. I am going to look for it in a few minutes. I'm going to just put a little mist over that erasing mark. Anything you erase that looks harsh, just go back in and check it. You know what I mean? Just softly spray over it. On her lip, this is the light mixture again. Oops, I want that to stay. Let me just pin down Warren Bacall there, the reference picture. The more you put your tape on top of the reference picture, the more you're going to rip up especially when it's from a magazine from a long time ago or something. But if you put it on the back and you use the blue tape, as opposed to like masking tape, your picture won't get really ruined if you want it for later. If you have photocopies of that, you can literally cut out from the photocopies and spray through them. My printer's out of ink, and everything is harder right now because the ink is too much money, man. It is over the top, like $80, $70 I have a really nice Epson printer, but right now I don't want to justify, spending the money on it. I'm still not taking commission work. I'm finding out what's going on with my eyesight. But in the meantime, I mean, when money's pouring in, then everything is justified. So if you buy ink, okay, so part of that painting covered that material. I'm not in that situation right now where, I was before when I had my own business, and the same thing, it's like everything was always considered, well, your materials. I had a sign shop. If I had to buy vinyl, the vinyl was expensive, but it also made me money because I was going to letter a truck or whatever, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is draw the cutoff point. I have a light image here. I love see-through rulers because you can still see your artwork. You can get them at most stores. So I'm going to measure it, make sure it's a 1/2 inch, and right here. Okay, here we go. Just want the line there. I'll be cutting that off with the X-Acto knife later. So this is no man's zone. Just gets cut away. Sometimes I'll leave a nice frame around the whole picture. That'll be in white all the way around. But this is a demo. This will be something that I'm not selling this or anything. This is just a practice piece and a demo for my students or my Airbrush friends on YouTube and Facebook and the different groups. And so anyway, so you can't find those highlights unless you either preserve them or come back in and get them when it's sprayed in the real light form. Okay, so we've got about 7 people. For anybody that's just joining, this is India Ink, and it's mixed by Timothy John Luke Smith. You can buy it. It's already pre-mixed. It's wonderful. He has a way of making this where he has a light mixture and then the medium and the dark. And the light mixture, when I first got them, that was over a year ago, I was so blown away. I was just messing with a cartoon. I had like a drawing up on here of, Wile E. Coyote or whatever. And I just, took this little thing and I just was dusting in a little shading and making it look 3D. And I couldn't believe how it sprayed so beautiful. And it just put that light tone in. Then you put the next tone in. And finally the dark for the detailing. And if you watch Timothy on, his live feeds on Wednesday at 9:30. YouTube. I think he's on Facebook too. So I want to use the darker lead. Okay, I want to just kind of find this shape right here. Then you can watch him take a painting like this and he'll do a 2-hour session. And then next week you'll see the second session, and he takes his time. A painting like that could be 6, which would be 12 hours, right? 6 sessions, something like, and that's not unusual. He's really allowing you to see the whole process broken down in bite-sized pieces so that you don't get overwhelmed, and you can actually come along and take lessons from them, which is what I want to do somehow with Zoom. My store, my airbrush equipment, everything. I'm not going back to my son's art studio because I have to take care of Sue now my wife is, I got to be like her caretaker, So I can't really leave her too long in the day. Can't really leave. I don't like leaving her at all. But anyway, that's why I want to do Zoom. And I think I would have wanted to do Zoom at this point anyway because it's convenient. You don't have to drive to another town, which is what I would have had to do. I did it for years. I have my own studio, and it sometimes I was 5 minutes from it, depending on where I lived, and sometimes I wasn't. I was a half hour, 20 minute. It became hours of driving and trying to get there in time. So I see some more texture in here, not a lot. So I'm just going to whisper a little bit more right in here. You guys might not be able to see some of the detail that I just put in, but I will bring this closer to the camera to show you some of the stuff as we go. All right, so let's get over here. When you're using the inks, you have a rough side and a smooth side. I've been spraying on the smooth side against the surface, and you got to be careful. You don't want to bring the ink over to the surface. So these shapes, I'm going to just kind of whisper across here and look at it and see, am I doing anything that I need to see before I overdo it? Right here. Yep, there it goes. All right, let me bring that closer and hopefully you can see it. I know how to do Zoom on Facebook. I'm not sure how to do Zoom on the YouTube Live. You can see that microscopic texture being put in right there. Okay, that gives it life. You know what I mean? And then you'll spray as you go. You'll spray all values over it. So value is the lightness and darkness of the grayscale. Then you can switch that over to color. Oh, you got yours from Tim. Yes, he is a very nice guy. Yes, awesome guy and very talented. Not only is he talented and skilled and trained, he is also a great teacher. Not everyone that can, do this, say, beautiful artwork, but they don't maybe have the desire to teach or the patience, or maybe they don't even have the ability, Not everyone can do it. It's not interesting to them, maybe. Everybody likes to maybe share, like if a friend is over, you could say, hey, I'm not really a teacher, but I'll help you because you live nearby me. That probably is true with anything, But to really teach, you got to have it in your blood. To be a good teacher, you got to just love what you're trying to bring to the table and then bring it. And if you don't bring it, then just go paint by yourself somewhere. Okay. Good advice for me too, right? Okay. So I'm taking the pencil here. That line is in the picture. Okay. And the graphite works with the inks. It won't happen like I can't do that on clapboard. It just doesn't work, with the inks it does. Now, if it's shining and you turn it on different angles and you say, oh man, the pencil lines look shiny, you can bury them into oblivion with your different sprays that you can use. Okay, so let's use this part of the shield here and go back to the same spot. I'm not too sure that's, there it is. Okay. Second coat it, air dry. As Tim would say, a lot of patience, especially with the first ink. It's very watery and it can really bite you if you go, it can do this. Watch over here. Well, watch up here on this. Well, where can I show you? I'll show you on this board. Okay, I'll go over here. See that? That's what can happen. That's okay if you want to have fun and make a design and walk those babies all over the place and then paint a flower or something. But the thing is, you don't want that when you don't want it. You know what I'm saying? So right here on her nostril, the wing of the nostril, I'm going to enter that little area carefully and just start to bring some shading up on the corner right there. And eventually it will get darker. I'm going to go a little bit more. There we go. I can see it starting to do a little spidering, as he calls it. Now, right above it, with the same light mixture, I'm going to just freehand in, very carefully trying to look at the shape. Okay, so that's that getting darker now, but in stages. Underneath the eye, I'm going to turn the air pressure up a little more because I'm going to try to do some little doodling here, a little bit of a fine line. I think nothing's coming out right now, so let me make sure I test it on the side, go in on this test piece. Okay, here we go. So now underneath the slight bag in the eye, I hate to say it, but she does have a slight bag in the eye. I'm putting in, what I see, kind of like they're darker, so I'll try to hit them again. There we go. So that darkness isn't up into here necessarily. Here's another gray area on the iris, I'm sorry, next to the iris, and it curves right there. Oh, I turned it up before, remember? Okay. And I'm just gonna sink a little gray tone right there. Don't want to get too dark. It's very light. So it's better to spray a little, look at it, back away. Always step away from your work every so often. Look at it from a distance, and you will get far more of what you want than. So then I got to finish my sentence. Far more than, but staying on top of it, you're going to get, you might have problems. If you stay on top of the painting, it could end up being going off and you don't even know it. Pencil right here, just kind of, and I can erase that too if it's not right. This dark area here, just one little push of the pencil, boom. Can you airbrush over the lead? Well, I kind of asked that question. You can airbrush over the lead. So right here, it's going to get darker, so I got to be careful. That's why you want to spray your freckles first or your texture first. If you do it just lightly, I got what I want. You want people just to see that there's something there. You don't have to put every little one in that's in the picture. You got to just put in something to indicate that she's got skin texture, and then there's some erasing. I can go back in later with the Tombow, and you can actually put highlights around some of those lovely little marks. Right here is a good example, I guess it's the lighting hitting her eye, that she's got a really cool, let me see if I could do this. Reflection, or the lighting is making the actual eyelash that's up here hit her face, and it goes like that to there, something like that. Now I see the shine of the graphite, but if I go in later real tight, I can spray right on top of that and I can hide that. This one goes a little bit more this way. Little point on it. You can make a point by just pulling away. Okay, so if you're trying to do, let's take the side of the pencil, a dagger stroke. You can even do it with the tip. Just pull away and you can get fine lines, okay? Like your airbrush palm trees kind of thing, okay? So little by little, okay, we're gonna go in and we're going to bring this gray tone, a little more air pressure. I see some pencil lines, very fine ones buried under here. I'm just gonna kind of pass over that one a number of times with the light mixture. And again, right next to it, a skinny one right in here. This will pop out more with the next mixture. I'm just leaving areas. Let's see, this one's kind of a big one right in here. So I'll just kind of bring it in like that. There's that little. This was a 2-hour painting that I got this far. When you're working with the light, you're not going to get as far. But I started bouncing around and I got a lot done, which is enjoyable to watch, you know. And once I put the next color value in the gun, then we're going to see a faster moving picture, you know. But again, I'm still trying to not go ahead of myself. Using a feather stroke there. It's a dagger stroke, but if you look here, they're all broken up soft. So there's one there, and then this one kind of catches up with it right there. It's broken up in the middle, just capturing those shapes. Okay, what else we got here? Got some tone right here, the super highlight and the blonde hair tone right there. In black and white, like if she has lipstick on, we have no clue what red lipstick looks like, say, if she has that color on in black and white. That's another fun thing to do. Take a color picture and put it on the printer and do it in black and white and study the values of what the colors really are. That's kind of a cool thing in itself to see what red looks like in the gray form. This is a little bit of hairs that are popping out in the shadow. Now it looks a little funky there, but that's because I can go back in with the black. So we're gonna go back in here. And a little bit more. I'm going to be going over to the next value. This is a little bit watery for me. But when you go on the skin tone, don't even think about starting with the medium value. Just don't. Okay, I've got a little bit going on there, and I've got a nice little shadow coming under her eye right here. And I'll only do that with the light mixture because you won't overshoot it. You just won't overshoot it. This darkness in here, I'm going to just go over it a little bit, connect it right here. Little by little. There we go, far away. Check the value of that out. Now you can knock that back further into the picture. That highlight pops out more, and that's how it works. It's just paying attention to the areas you're in. Going back over that again. Freehand, just kind of pump, not so much a pump stroke, just on and off, back and forth rocking. I don't like the pencil there. I will be airbrushing over that. Okay, this is fatter. This dark area right here is a little bit fatter. Okay, and a little tone on the iris right here. A little more. I can always erase it again. Whoops, it's spidering. This side of the eye is darker. Okay, so now I got to switch over because what it's doing, I find that if you spray the light over the light areas, it starts to almost make whiter. It eats into it. I don't even know how to describe it. Okay, dark, dark, right here. One more time, right in this area. Yeah, time to switch over. Okay, so pretty much empty. I mean, there's still, there's still some ink in here. I don't like wasting any, but dagger stroke, feather stroke. Yeah, had some in the throat of the airbrush that was still there that you could still paint with. Okay, so we go from the light mixture. That's how you get all that. You can't do it jumping ahead to the medium mixture. Okay. Tim's even working on a sepia ink from what I see. Okay. Medium does have more coverage. Black, when you want to get the blackest black, like in here, you're not going to get, it's in the ink, but you're spraying it. You're not going to get the real dark value until you have the patience to take your time and work it and get into, many coats. That's how you'll get that. I'm just bouncing around here on the hair over in this area. Air dry. You'll see the darkness start punching out things. If you don't have any freehand control, then use as many stencils as you can, because that's okay. I mean, when we all start out, you wanna have that. You want to not be like, when you play the guitar, the teacher will say, play slow, and the speed will come. If you like to play notes, that kind of a thing. You wonder how some of those guitars, I mean, they just do things that just blow your mind, but it didn't happen overnight. For some, they're so naturally gifted that it does come really quick to them, but from what I've read and listened to interviews, but the bottom line is, there's all kinds of levels of gifts and skills that people have. Some have to work harder to get it, but all of a sudden I'll see a student that I had from years ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I knew if he stayed with it, he would knock my socks off and make me proud, not jealous. It's like, oh man, I think he might be better than me now. It's like, so what? You were the teacher, trying to bring it. And if he worked on it, let's talk about man hours. If somebody says I airbrush, I've been airbrushing for 3 years. And another person says, oh, I've been airbrushing for a year. And you look at the one that's been airbrushing for a year and you say, man, their work looks better. It actually looks better than the guy saying he's done 2 years. Well, 2 years of how many man hours? People that are on here, they're on every live feed. They're hungry. They're painting. They're practicing. They're putting in man hours, or in this politically correct climate, women hours, or whatever, just joking. But they're putting in their time. They're putting in their time, And that's all there is to it. It's not a question of maybe they're both equally skilled. And the problem is the one that says working a job says, "Oh, I airbrush on weekends." And they get in like 4 hours, maybe on a weekend. Well, they're not going to get as good as the one that's painting every night. It just makes sense, you know. Same thing with the guitar, you know, unless you've got a super gift, which means, you know, just prodigy kind of thing, where you're a little kid and you're playing the instrument better than the adults, and you just picked it up. I talk about the guitar because that's my instrument that I love to play, and it's really just for fun. It's not. I don't make money with it. You know, I used to teach a little bit, but I'm not really. You know, that's not my thing. My thing is noodling around on it. But it's a good example of why do some people get so much better than anybody else. Now I'm treating the medium mixture like the light mixture. That's the beauty of the airbrush. You know, you got that air on, and you just whisper it in from a distance, and you can do that. You know, when I paint on my t-shirts, I have one gray. I have a gray by Medea. It's called Warm Gray, Uric Medea t-shirt paint. And I spray it super light, you know, doing all the things that I got to do. One value, many values from the airbrush, one mixture. Then wherever I need to fire in the dark, because that gray that I'm talking about can get very dark, but it also can spray like this light area. And that's a whole other animal. That's for t-shirts, which I'm trying to find something to paint on a t-shirt that you guys can see the whole process of. I'll tell you how I prepare the shirt, and I'll, you know, because you don't want to do a custom job on a shirt that's not been prepared. It just won't look right. Now I shouldn't darken her skin area on her chest area here, because this is black, and I don't know the darkness of the two yet. So I'm going to just slowly bring out this. Now this goes down and up right here. Up, shaping it. Her face will start to look thinner and go round here. But it's not the black. And keep going. One more pass, and then I'll look at it. Okay. Now, her whole weight of her face has just changed. Okay. Just looking at different values. It's really dark here, so we get the chin. Remember, I have the paper stencils too. So this would be if I want to spray her skin under the chin, protect the chin, and I'll put a little bit of color there, a value, just a little, maybe one pass. Then I want to look for that other, the one that I cut the chin out from, and now I can come under here again. And again, I'm building that bottom shadow on her chin slowly, okay, because too much can really give her a beard. Drop it, look at it, a little bit more. Line that up right on. One more pass there. And I could even see one more. Okay, maybe even more later, but right now, just working it like that. There we go. Very dramatic lighting back in the silver screen time period. Let's second coat this, see if the gray can build up more darkness. It's all solid, so wherever you see an area that's solid, this isn't even black, guys. This is a medium mixture. The darker this gets, the more that's going to start looking like that. So as I bring the shirt, blouse, whatever it is, up in here. I preserve this area and I start to do a few little feather strokes that way. And then I go in here. Just carefully. Air dry it. I see it getting wet. Okay. I'd like to put that in there. So let's see if I can find a shield. Maybe the bigger one. Yeah, that'll help. Gets really wet on the stencil. So you gotta have your eyes. Now look what I did, guys. My stencil and the mistakes and everything that happened are a learning experience of how to fix them. These have plenty of extra little, detailed openings in it. I should have taped over that, but I didn't. So I have a lovely little something that doesn't belong in the painting right there. It's not ruined. Now I'll just think about it a little bit more. It's far from ruined. It's far from ruined. Now with paper, as I showed on, and you got to be careful spraying off the edge, because then you get you get a little shape going on here that you didn't want. I could try this first, this eraser. Some of them are going away. I know we got a bouncing camera, but hold on to your seats. Okay, so they're going back into the almost, it's got to be pure white there. And so for those that make mistakes on Bristol board, I was doing a live Facebook feed of Bruce Lee. Let's see, let me read. What I learned in a year of a lot of people don't learn in 3 years. Yeah, well, if you're learning from, Fred, if you're learning from Drew Blair, and you're going to learn so much. And of course, being on Facebook, picking up ideas from everyone. So this is just your 1000 grit. And I really messed up that Bruce Lee painting, really bad. I mean, I spilled solid ink on his face down into his, it was almost done too. And right on camera, I kept my cool. And that would be where I guess maybe experience comes in, because of using this before, maybe on Bristol board, or not Bristol board, illustration board. And even going as far as, if you say you have a pencil and you put a ding right into the board, the thick illustration board, and it's a divot, it's a ding. You could fill it with putty, house wall putty, and you could sand it and polish it with the polishing paper, and it's just like the paper again. So I've had experience over the years of that, and I just thought, okay, I was upset that it spilled, and it is Bristol board, it's not illustration board, so am I going to be all right? And right in front of my people's eyes, they saw me get that whole thing fixed up, and I was very grateful that my picture was saved, but at the same time, it was like, I didn't want that to happen. But that's another way of getting it to, be repaired. So we've got that. Let's see, do I have a face shield? I think I do, but it's probably this one, right? Yeah. So where is the other piece to go out here? I'm looking. Okay. So while I got the, I'm not sure I'm going to be using the shields for the hair that I brought out earlier, but let me, at least while I got the medium. Okay, so you just open them to where you want them. And when you're doing long hair on, say, a girl's portrait or something, now I'm going to air dry it. And look at that fine hair. And believe me, you can get way finer. Look at that hair. Look at the tip of it. Okay, so I bet your work shows it to Fred. I hope, if you mean that Fred's learning something from my videos, I hope so. But I know that it's all many people on here, like Steve Leahy. Okay, so let's just do one finer than that. So I'm just going to not open it as much. A little wisp that are around by the neck. I'm going to close that up almost to where it's not open. This is amazing, actually, to me. I've used this for whiskers on a cat. That's pretty much the same thickness almost. You can get thinner, though. That's pretty thin, though. You know, and then when you start getting into the curly parts, you have the different shapes. So let's do one more. So say the hair is starting to turn in another direction, and you've got this. I'll do a wider one this time, just to show it a little bit bigger. Of course, that's really wide, but that just shows you can change the direction. And you could, you know, I did whiskers on the cat with them. So I'll show you actually a real sample. If I can get this over here. Yeah, I used that. I used this for the whiskers. Okay. So when I wanted to second coat the whisker, now notice the whisker's almost brown here. That's because it's going off into that out of focus brown color. But if I want to brighten a few up, you can refine those shapes. I'm not going to do it now with this and get those whiskers in. Look at this guy. He's a real nice fine one right there. You know, a little baby one going off into the ozone. This kind of stuff here from this will be sprayed with a clear satin finish, and she will be protected from, you know. Oh yeah, somebody asked me one time, how do you get that so black? Now keep in mind, that's Createx. This is clayboard. You know, clayboard. Ampersand, which is a great product. That's what I paint a lot of my stuff on. Anyway, it's on Masonite, and it's got clay finish. This is just the taped off area that's protected. And it's how do you get that black so black? Well, first of all, just second coating. The black by Createx is dark, but it doesn't come with the first pass. You know, you got to just layer it in. Don't flood it on, and slowly but surely you'll get that. But that's from Drew's hair stencil. He has a whole kit you can buy. How to make the hairs, how to make hair. It's a classroom in a box. I don't have that. I just bought the stencils. But believe me, if I had a fortune in my wallet, I probably would buy almost every classroom in a box and stencil he sells. Because I've been to him about 7, 8 times. I've been to his house. I've been everywhere. And to have such a person being willing to teach that's so talented like him, and then make it ready for you to own it and have it for the rest of your life in your own hands, man, you can't beat that. So I would love to be able to, you know, have as many as I could get. That's a little bit of a curve. And maybe over a period of time I'll get more and more. But just having that and not having to travel, for me, I've traveled a lot to his place, is a blessing to be able to get it right to my door with the mailman. And then you own it. I have color theory in a box. And that was my first choice because I wanted to go over it and review it and get it to be understood way more than I understood it because it's deep. So I'm taking the big shield and just finding that shape and get rid of the pencil line. Again, this is not black. But the more I get darker here, far away, soft spray, airbrush, air on to just kind of dry it. I'll treat them with pastel, white pastel, the pearls. If I use white on the dark sprayed areas, it will color shift unless I put like Tim does, puts the white down first. In this case, I'm trying to use the white of the board, but over here, I lost the white of the board. So this is a pastel, and I could come in here and just, I would sharpen this or whatever, put one of those little pearls in, and then knock it back. See, that won't color shift on me. But I got to get this, I got to get one of his pencil ones, but that'll just light right up for the pearls, or brighten up a highlight that's already there, that kind of a thing. Okay, let's see what we got here. This shape, how did I do this one before? That's kind of got a crazy shape to it. So I could take, to be safe, if I have something readily available, let me look behind the art desk. Okay, just go over to my other side of the room here. It pays to do these little extra things because I lost probably that stencil. But you can't see like through, you can't see through that with a copy paper, so I haven't. By the way, the tracing paper by Master's Touch, pretty expensive. I checked it out at the store, laying the tracing paper on top of, say, something like, and it was so see-through and so high quality that I thought this is worth it, because the whole idea is you want to be able to have a good quality tracing paper for doing what you need to do. Okay, so now I'm going to take my pencil, if I can find it, and I'm going to sharpen that. I might not have to. All right, so what do I need? I need that shape. I usually turn, it's pretty see-through. I gotta use 2 fingers here because I'm gonna make a starting point and a finishing point. You can use dots, like if you are shaking, or sign painters do this a lot. They just put dots down right on the line. It more or less gets it. Instead of like just pulling the line, I got enough dots on there that are landed right on that line that create a line. Because that's an awkward position and I don't want to get it wrong. Here I can do this. This is pull, shape of the natural curve of the hand. Here, again, pull. Not so comfortable there. Here, might as well do it while I got it. I think I can curve that. I'm not too sure. Let me just try it. A little wiggly. I'm uncomfortable. My arm is stretching and it's not working for me on that angle. So what I could do is do the angles I can get. That one. Let me see if I could go this way. See, now if I stood up and turned, this is the natural curve. There we go. That'll work. Okay, so now I've got that. Might as well do the face. This has to be dead on. I should have a super sharp point, but I don't. See, I already had this face shield, but I don't know where it went. Okay. behind my whiteboard on this drawing table is Art Tools cutting mat. I'll show you it, I think. Okay, a little sloppy there, but there we go. Okay, so I got what I need there. Pretty much here, I guess I could make it real easy when I get to the black. Some people weren't really good at drawing a circle, say, and you could come along and say you were going to do, I'll do it on a white piece of paper. You're going to try to do a circle, you might be better off, you could do a rough circle like that. You might be better off, sign painters would do this, because there's a little wiggle room that's allowed. Let's say we're going to make the letter S, so we do 2 circles, where it looks like the number 8. And you just come along here and you follow the best line that you could find. And then you tighten up the spots. Make sure it's round. It's not really round there, so you just kind of curve it. And you'll find you'll get a beautiful circle by doing the dots. It takes time, and this is out of my reach in a way, the way I'm reaching around the cell phones right here. But anyway, a little baby tip. Okay, so we've got the tracing paper, and now I'm going to put the cat painting back over there. So let's see, I started this at 8:30. So yeah, I'm going to probably go to, the 2 hours. I don't usually do that on a YouTube video, but because it's live, you can do that. So that's what I plan on doing. All right, so let me get this stuff out of my way here. Okay, off to the side. And of course, as always, this ended up right on the floor. So let's do this. Let's get the cutting mat available. So we're going to this is just a poster board, and I'm just going to take this out of our view for a minute, revealing the art tool background. If you were watching Steve Leahy, his video tonight, you would have seen it. Now I can't see that too good, so I've done this before. It's a little bit of a pain in the neck, but it allows me to see and still have the soft cutting mat to see the actual thing. So what I'm going to do is take my blue tape. I hope I got this in a good view for you guys here, just to have that stay there. The reason I'm putting the white up is so I can see my cuts. And then I'm going to take my X-Acto knife. And it would probably pay for me to leave this loose so I can go with my curves. And like I tell you, this natural curve of the hand, now I might be comfortable going this way. So let's try this. Once you sink it in, if you buy an art tool mat, cutting mat, you won't be sorry. This is so soft on the tool, on the pencil, the X-Acto knife. Now, do I want to paint, do I want to do that way, or do I want to pull it across? And I'm going to go this way. Staying on, whoops, I missed the dots, so I have to trim closer. So I'm just going to push a little harder and get on those dots. That wasn't the greatest cut in the world, but it'll work. Okay, then here. Don't try this on like a cardboard background. It just won't happen. Then you end up getting sometimes double stencils. So we've got here, what is this again? Oh, this is the face right here. I'm just going to pull on the line. Nailing it. Okay, so I've got that. And I've got my outer shape here. I'm going to open this up and go this way. Turn. Stay in the same cut. Just kind of go beyond that. All right. So now I have that shape. To do my black right there. I have the face. All right. So, and then I have, this is protecting her skin, and this will be an outer spray going that way. So I can go up higher, down lower, and go right off the page here. Okay, so I've got, let's see, that's going to be that. All right, well, let me just use one at a time before I get confused. All right, so this is that one. I think, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Right there, that's that one. Okay, that's for the skin. So the opening part is what I want. Oh boy, did I get confused. Okay, give me a second here, guys. It's confusing. There's that shape. So that's if I want to protect the face. So that means I need this side. The face. Right there. Just spray that black. What happened here, I do not even really know. But I do need this piece for the black area. All right, so I got that. This should have come right off. Maybe it's over here. Well, anyway, let me put the black in the gun and take care of that area. Shake the bottle. Mix it up. And get a nice drink of water here. And this will be up on YouTube. It'll be on my channel permanently. So, if you come back and want to forget something, want to just speed up and look at a small part, it'll be there. Okay. All right, I confuse the daylights out of myself. I'll tell you that much with these stencils. Don't mind me. Do it all the time. They look like nothing to me now. All right, what's this? See, I usually mark off from here to here, and then I know that's that part of the stencil. But I didn't do that. So I know that this is, come on, guys, you're probably going, Bill, put it right there, Bill, or turn it this way, Bill, or, that kind of a thing. That's not it. All righty. Making a fool of myself on this one, but I don't care because I'm having fun. But I am confused on what I just cut out. So, boy, how weird is that? I know I've got this somewhere. Nope. Are you kidding me? All right. I'm gonna play games no longer. Show you another trick. And this I've got to do a test. This is not a stencil. This is, so let's see, this is Bristol board. I need a piece of Bristol board that I was testing on. Okay, what I'm going to show you, because I don't like losing time, and I just got to make sure this doesn't ruin Bristol board. Doesn't seem like it is. I don't think I'd want to leave it on too long. This is fine line tape. You can just go like that. Walk it along the edge of that shape. Right to there. Bend it, stretch it, and cut it in like that. And you got it. Right to there. Okay, so now what I want to do is protect beyond it. So another way to make a stencil. The other way works. It just was, I got a little confused, you know, doing it on a video and stuff, just whatever, you know. I guess that goes right up into here, so I'm going to just kind of use the blue tape to do that. Now this I will get over closer later. I'm seeing, okay, I'll do the same, and hopefully this won't rip. If it rips it, I don't have any way to fix it, but I'm taking a chance, so let's do that again right here. Just walk it, go back on the face a little bit there, and just walk it along. Make sure you're landing on the line. This is made for doing hot rod flames, that kind of stuff. I mean, it goes dead on it. That's for sure. I'm just bending it a little bit. If this was metal, I wouldn't have to think about damage. But I'm a risk taker. I don't care. Okay. Now that might be out a little further. Let's see, go out a little further there. Okay, so I've got that area protected. So I'm just going to go like this. Make sure you don't go onto the area you're painting. You can even put this on, you know, your jeans or whatever, so you don't have, the tape won't really hurt her. I'm worried about the fine line tape hurting her, ripping up the picture. I'll just, one way to show you a little patch job. Make sure it's down. Okay, so let's get the black in there. Get that tape off as quick as possible. Black over here. And bring this picture back over. And again, the second coating. This is black now. Don't want to aim out, so for the sake of argument, guys, overspray can ruin everything, right? So take a big piece of cheap paper and just kind of do that. But don't forget to put it right where it would bleed under. air dry it. To build up to the blackest black, you gotta really, you can't just do like with the paint. It's a little different. But if I get the edges, it should be good. Air dry that. It's black too. Air dry it. Well, here we go. She's protected, that's good. Let's go with this tape first. No pull up. Didn't expect that from, I think if you left that fine line tape on long, it might rip it. Slow and low, a little wiggle action. Pulled up a little piece of paper right there, so it is starting to do it, right there. Okay, so it's a no-no. I got away with it, but on paper, it's a no-no. It's not ruining anything. It did mess up on the face a little, but I can sand that. All right, so the inks, you know, you learn from my mistakes, right? So we're just gonna go this way, real low and slow. It's the outside, so it shouldn't really do any damage. Let's get this off there. The very fine little spot right there that I can feather it back in. So it wasn't such a cool idea. It worked, but it won't be, I won't do it on any other part. I wouldn't mind taking the blue, you know, and doing like an area that's straight, because it's not going to do nothing. But right there, it did do a little tear up. One little spot. And it's microscopic and a little speckly right there. But, and it looked like my black went onto her face a little. Taking the side of the knife. Yeah, that's just going to be a white spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to protect this later. I'm going to take my, I might have to take out my shading in this area and then just put it back in again. But instead of just working on like, if I take this black out right there, that's going to leave white holes. See, it's paper. So I have to fix that area, but I'm still happy with my results. This is that black we're looking for. I have to do a different way of stenciling, obviously. The freehand shields are the safest bet, you know. Let's see what we got here. Oh, that has the rough edge, so I don't want to use that. See, it's organic. There it is. So I don't want to use that. What I could do is work out of ink. Aim this way, away from that edge, just to get it closer. Air dry that. See, this is a little special wiggly little shape there, and a nice little stencil from tracing paper would do a good job, but let me see what this can do for me. art tool. Has a lot of shapes. Lots and lots of shapes. It's pretty thin. It's not quite as thin as Drew's, but it's thin. There's a straight edge right there. Right in the beginning. So I can go. So get my way through it. Okay. Black right on the cheek. Air dry. Look at it, step back. Yeah, I like this thing that's going on there. I'm going to go into here real carefully. Slowly but surely. Here, black. Here, a little straighter there, right there. This might have come down a little further, so I can't change that, but that's the critical part of, oh yeah, wow, what did I do here? Okay. It's on the outside, so I'm not seeing any damage as far as ruining anything here. I should have paid more attention to this line right here to there. So this black is going to go up into here, and that's all the hair. So you can use the pencil to kind of find it. Just shade it in and spray over it later. On the paper, like I said, you can't do this with, you just can't do that. Now that doesn't look nice to leave, but it found my fit where I didn't curve in enough, and now I did, and so that's good there. Okay. This gets a little darker in here. I'm just going to push it that way. There we go. Just stop, stop and look at it. Back on top of this color. Now you're just darkening areas that are already there. Freehanding it. And don't get too crazy, but that's pretty dark now. The lip. Take my time and look at it. That outer lip. Outer edge. Tip dry. Now. I keep looking back at the reference to make sure I'm filling it in right, Let's put a little more tone on the shadow of the lip right here. It's going to be very slow seeing it because I'm not doing it fast. I might even want a shield there, so I think I'll hold off on that, but I will darken the overall tone on this right here, the lip, the fat part of the lip there, bottom lip, just a little bit. Okay, up in here. Yeah, I'll get darker with the light color later. All I'm doing is second coating areas now. Okay. Right here. There's the feather stroke. Goes like a dagger. I'm just filling in there. There's another feather stroke. And pretty solid in here, so just kind of, oh, it's getting a little heavy. I have a heavy hand with I'm turning up the air too much, you know. That's from doing the painting. See? Okay, so we've got that coming out this way. Goes up, cuts in a little bit there, and then cuts over, like a puzzle. And then there's little feather strokes, a big fatter one right here, and a real dark. Air dry. All right, so what do we got here? We got the blonde hair coming around. Separates right here, so it comes down to a kind of a point there. And under, over, back up this way. So just think of the hair like a sculpture. Like I said, it's always better black and white. You're not thinking about mixing colors. Makes a lot of sense, right? This goes that way. There's a real big one. I can almost draw it in right here, right off of that. It goes this way, goes up. It's kind of there, but everything gets lost eventually with overspray. So I can kind of darken that a little bit. Just like that. Slowly, you can see the shine. Once they're tight and all those lines are fixed in, then it will really start to make sense. But if you go the wrong direction with the hair, unless there's a good windstorm coming, you might say you messed up. Here's the pencil right here. I'm going to just cut right over that wrong shape that I made. And bury the pencil. And that starts to come together. Let's fix this pupil. Pump stroke. Oh, there's a shadow attached to it right here. Whoa. All right, nice miss, but it landed on the eyebrow, so that's good. That's my one eye crap. You know, I'm working with one eye, I'm working with a half of an eye in reality. splashing out a lot on me there. Probably too much air pressure. Okay. Yeah, that's good there. Some of these guys are going to come in here. Crisp. This is okay. Don't want the organic edge. I want the smooth edge. So where is it? I got two. This has an organic edge. I got actually three. Okay. All right, so open the drawer. I know I have three of them. Once this drawer starts getting loaded, that's on the desk underneath. I'm gonna start getting cluttered. Okay, so where was I gonna go with this? Oh boy, now that I did that, I forget where I was going with it. Over in here a little bit more. What was I working on? Oh, I think it was up here. Just a little crisper line. I've got to really tweak this stuff off camera because I'm in a very uncomfortable position right now. Okay, so let's do this. Let's get that darker over here. Just freehanding it. This is black now. And then just fade to the gray. Because this lighting is coming over. You know, it's a little gray, not too much. And then it gets darker and darker at the top. Okay. You can see the sculpting that's going on. It's making her start to come together, but it's going to take a lot to get her to be where she needs to be. The hair. I don't want to overspray out there, so I can't get too close. There's a piece of blonde hair I didn't really leave for right there, so I gotta do something about it. Oh, there it is. It's right there. It's right here. I'm just sculpting. I'm just getting shapes that are going to help me find my way. Pretty high air pressure right now because I'm just trying to blow in some shapes. air dry. Okay, getting closer. I can see it coming together, but I hope you guys can see that. And so I'm going to switch back, get away from the black. Remember, it's three different light ink mixtures, so you don't want to overdo it by staying with the wrong value. The more you find these shapes, the more you come back in with a hard shape on certain areas, like here. Get a little more curve on it. That's when it starts looking like that. So you just mimic, you come in and you find a shape that you've been working on for a while, and you start to refine it and turn the air pressure down. Showing that hard edge, right where it's supposed to be shown. Tip dry, there we go. Then all those little hairs will come out later. Let's darken that back there a little bit on the hair. All right, I'm going to switch to medium. That was good that didn't spray, because that's not really black in there. That's where I get, when I do these things fast like this, I get in trouble because I start getting carried away. And that's where Tim will say the 1 second rule. It means stop, look, and don't spray. So now I've got the medium gray, which will not go black on me. And now I could spray. If you squint your eyes, you can see the brightness there. Knock it back, air dry it. There's a lot of texture in there, but I'm just playing with the shapes. Right in here, the black would not have worked. Okay, that's going to be black on the outside. Okay. The blotchiness will go away from working it, working out the, so we've got the black will be under here. Okay, I'm going to put a little more, I'm going to go to this medium value still, I guess. I don't think I can use the light value at this point on that. Maybe. Sure don't want to. And then I got to do the shadow under the nose. I got to repair that area. So I am going to go to the light mixture and see if I can darken the face a little bit. Just want to try something right there. Little by little. She's got a little dent in her nose too. I got to be careful of that. Little by little. There's a nice shadow coming up here. Little. Stop. It gets darker because it also comes out this way more. Whoops, I went under. One-eyed Willie here. All right. These are the things I have to deal with, guys. I mean, we all can miss with the airbrush. There's no doubt about it. The aim, but I miss a lot with it. Enough, you know, especially when I'm far away with the camera. I'm not where I should be. Okay, just working on the, oh, that eyelid has gray on it. Let me put a little gray on there. There we go. Very little. That one's pretty white. So I'd say the eyeball's gray there. Okay, more tone in here. Little by little. Keep saying that, but I'm not going to spray here because I have damage and it will look funky if I do that. You know, what I'm going to do with the pearls is I'm going to find the shadow areas like here. And I'm going to probably freehand them because they're kind of out of focus. I got to find where the shapes are. That one splashed out on me a little bit. That's, now I can see that that's darker, underneath the chin. One pass, that's it. Two passes, I'll keep playing with that till I like it. There's a shadow on the nose here, which I already have, but I'm gonna just bring it back one more time. Killed the highlight a little bit, but that's all right. It's very light color. Under the eye. I can go there, but I don't want to go down there. I can go a little bit on the skin over here, but I'm not going to go there because I have damage. Whoops, too heavy-handed. Off the mouth, I think there's a little. I'll get another piece for over there. Don't know if I have that shape. Don't want to get off at all on this one. I'll do that later. Okay, I'm going to do a little more skin texture. You leave one piece of tape, here we go, just one little piece of tape in the drawer, and you get a whole, like you're fishing, oh my gosh, even the tape is, so that's my drawer, the drawer in front of me that had a piece of tape and some papers in there, and I wonder where things go. I am more organized than that, but when I do videos, I'm not as good. There we go. I'm liking that. I better wipe it off. I'm going to go texture right in here and a little more shadow. So the shadow is right in there, which makes the chin pop out more. And then this quiets down, this highlight quiets down right there a little bit. Just whisper over it. And a little more texture right in here. Yep. Okay, that's a little heavy, but I could pull the shadows back over and some gray tones on there. Oh no, it's drying, so it's working out. All right, so one more time up here. Whoops, wet, wet, wet. Yeah, that's what's happening there. All right, I'll stop at that point before I ruin it, air dry it. No, I do see more. There's a little more texture kind of out here a little more. Okay, I'll bring that up by the camera so we can see some of the texture, maybe. It's there. Okay, it takes time. The rest of this painting is going to be finished, off camera, because you already saw the general, it's like rinse and repeat, like I say. You see that and you just do the same thing. Up the dark, I just have to tweak everything, bring everything to where it's supposed to be. But I'll do much better working on it off camera, where I could get, into some small areas and close up and maybe work on it for an hour, then walk away from it and that kind of stuff. Got to get in there with a different eraser right in here because it's whiter. Yeah, it's much whiter, so I'll do a little bit here, but I got to really get into that area. All right, she's brighter there. She's brighter in here. Just do a little so you can see it. They pop out more. All right, so let's see. Okay, I went 5 minutes over, so thanks for everybody watching, and I will hopefully see you soon. Take care, God bless, and be safe out there, as I always say, and thanks for looking.